Welcome back, and joining me with more insight on the day's trade is Annatjie Van Rooyen from Regenesys Business School. Thank you so much for your time, Annatjie. I was actually looking at the rand, and it's actually getting stronger and stronger. It's now below 17 rand 40 against the US dollar, and actually the JSE is not doing too badly either. I'm wondering where this kind of optimism and strength is coming from.
Good afternoon, Annatjie. Thanks for having me on your show. Yes, the JSE actually continues to benefit from US rate cut optimism and US dollar weakness. So the all share is building on those gains above the 100,000 level. The rand, of course, is also a beneficiary of that weaker dollar, as the market's already discounting a 25 basis point cut in the US next week, but also the market's benefiting from solid earnings reports. We saw the report from First National Bank and Discovery yesterday. We're also seeing good results from the tech sector, Oracle this week. This morning there was news from Alibaba, and then precious metal prices also remain firm. So the weaker labor market numbers in the US overshadowing the CPI print. So now we await the guidance from the Fed governor next week.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting that you're saying that the labor market is overshadowing the inflation picture in the US. But here in South Africa, I mean, our inflation is still all right, I guess. Yes, I think the last print was above 3%, but still, I mean, within that target band. And I'm wondering then what the expectations are for next week, particularly with the inflation print coming out, I think, the day before that SARB meeting.
Yes, you are right. The CPI will be released on Wednesday, and the previous print was 3.5%. So this time around, we're expecting that number to come in at 3.8%. So it still remains at the lower end of the target range of the Reserve Bank. And with the rand being so strong, I definitely think it still leaves the door open for the Reserve Bank to cut rates, although they might remain on hold also because inflation expectations are well anchored at the lower end of the target range while we wait for National Treasury to officially buy into that lower inflation target. So I don't know, it's difficult to say. It's possible, but we'll have to see what that CPI number looks like next week.
Yeah, indeed. Annatjie, at the beginning, you mentioned the tech sector, Oracle and Alibaba. We've seen actually quite a lot of buying activity, but especially with Oracle, I actually didn't expect to see, such a reaction. A lot of people saying that the numbers were eye-watering, jaw-dropping. You had a lot of these adjectives to describe the performance of the company, but also you're talking about Alibaba as well. And I'm wondering if tech is just proving time and time again its kind of safety at this point in time.
Yes, definitely. The share price movement in the price of Oracle is definitely justified because it was underpinned by a combination of forward-looking indicators like large contracts plus bullish guidance tied to its AI and the cloud business. The cloud infrastructure revenue is expected to grow at 77%. And then, of course, these numbers are now already discounted in that share price, so you have to be careful because the tail risk is represented by the execution risk. So any miss going forward will be punished by the market after the share price has re-rated. So the re-rating took place because the analysts didn't have the forecast earnings correct. So the re-rating made a lot of sense, but you got to be careful from here.
Yeah. With Alibaba, because I mean, the story there with Alibaba and Baidu is that they own chips. They're using their own chips to test out these AI models. And I'm wondering if at any point it could have some sort of dent on NVIDIA, or is it just too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. NVIDIA is a big player in that market, but the Asian region is catching up slowly but surely, and it actually presents a very attractive investment case as these companies catch up because they have huge markets that they can still penetrate. So I don't think it's just move away from NVIDIA and switch over to a new one. It will transition over time, but it definitely presents a very attractive investment case for the Southeast, for the South Asian region. Those companies still offer a lot of value.
Okay. Well, Annatjie, I mean, as we were talking about monetary policy earlier, and I guess really the economic data prints that do influence those decisions, the Bank of England is also having its own meeting next week. And actually, we got some economic data that the economy remains stagnant in July in the UK. I'm wondering if this is anything to be concerned about here.
Now, look, this is not something that I think surprised the markets. That economy has been battling for a while, and there's very good reasons why it is struggling. And they're also battling with the inflation that is way higher than the target. Plus, I think there still definitely are some repercussions from Brexit and regulatory issues that they face. They also face reduced demand for their products. So the cost of living is high, inflation is high, so I don't think the Bank of England will cut rates at that meeting next week. And unfortunately, I think business confidence will remain dampened for quite a while still. But maybe at a later stage, if inflation can come down, we'll see. But I don't know. There's just too much uncertainty with supply chain bottlenecks and tariffs, too much uncertainty up in the air. I don't expect the BOE to cut anytime soon.
All right. Well, Annatjie, let's get to your stock pick for today. What are you hanging your hat on?
Well, I've actually picked this one before, but I'm happy to buy more at these levels. So I'm going to go for Ethereum, the ETF, the BlackRock ETF. I like the crypto market. And Ethereum is the crypto with the second largest market cap. So this is also... The ETF is very liquid and it's very safe to buy something from an asset manager like BlackRock. So Ethereum is the decentralized open source blockchain platform which enables the creation of smart contracts and decentralized applications. And I think the crypto market is currently supported by a much friendlier regulatory environment in the US. We all know about that genius bill that was passed recently. But the bids for these ETFs are supported by a bid against certain fiat currencies on the back of an attack on the Fed's independence. We'll see what happens next week when we get that court decision on Lisa Cook. So the other concern is debt sustainability, and this is providing record inflows into the ETFs and the crypto market specifically. So I think it's a good idea to diversify a little bit into the crypto market, and especially with the ETFs, which is a very safe bet.
Well, thank you very much, Annatjie, for walking us through what has moved investors' money today and this week, and also what to expect next week. That was Annatjie Van Rooyen from Regenesys Business School.